Hi, Gemini. Welcome to your end of October 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here, just starting over again. I didn't even really begin the reading, but oh well. Just wanted to do it. So the heart of the matter is the Hangman, and this is a card of waiting, playing the waiting game, or maybe being forced to wait. Maybe you're not wanting to wait, but your hands are tied. There's nothing you can do. And so in this type of situation, sometimes we say the person is in limbo. They are maybe they can't make any major changes in their life. They can't do anything because something is going on that is preventing them from doing so. An example would be that you're waiting for a job offer, or if you have fallen in love with someone else, or someone that is, overseas or involved with somebody else, and you're waiting for them to get divorced, whatever it is that is keeping you. But the thing is, the question is the sacrifice of kind of being in that state of limbo worth it? Is it something that you feel is going to lead to something good, or do you feel like you're being strung along by something? Because sometimes people keep getting this sort of positive, message from the other party, and it never seems to be progressing. Because of the cards that are flanking it, which are both pentacles, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a work-related matter. So either getting some kind of promotion, because we have the Queen of Pentacles in the past position. So either that might have been a position you were vying for, which, being either the queen or the king. It could be some kind of supervisory position, or, where you have some control over the workplace environment, maybe over other people, or simply that, this is your boss, this is the individual. And if the Queen of Pentacles is your boss, this person is very connected to money, and that might be kind of like what is the holdup that is going on and what have you. Perhaps the Queen of Pentacles can even describe how you have been living your life. It's really weird because I feel like I just did a reading for you, and I actually did do I think I did do a reading for you that was a green light portal reading that was really meant kind of as an overview of looking how the year has been, and then, what is up and coming. And I thought I got the Queen of Pentacles for your past position. So that's kind of interesting if that's the case, because it did seem familiar to me. So if you have been reconnecting with that side of yourself that is more domestic and more, kind of nurturing, maybe if you are a parent who has been spending time with your child or children, now there's like this in-between period. Maybe they're going to go to day school, or they have these different formats now, hybrid learning, or going to school, or home learning, whatever, and how that affects you, and this kind of another world. And really the Hangman is true for all of us to some degree, of feeling like we're kind of suspended in midair. The higher message is the Five of Pentacles, which is a card, I say, first and foremost, of poverty consciousness. But it is a card sometimes of unemployment. Now, this is the higher message, so I'm not reading it as the mundane explanation, but I'm looking beyond it. In this particular deck, which I love and which I use the most, the Morgan Greer deck, one of the reasons why I think that a lot of people like this deck, a lot of people will ask me, what deck is this? What deck is this? And the Morgan Greer deck is, I think, very popular because it's faithful to Rider-Waite. So it has that, easily relatable image in general. And it's also, it's borderless and it's very colorful and there are varied colors. So all the backgrounds don't look alike. And I noticed in some of these other decks that I have purchased that some of them have very similar backgrounds no matter what the actual card is. And that can make it very kind of generic when you're looking. You don't see, it doesn't pop out at you, the differences. But in this, the reason that's a long-winded explanation, but what I was trying to get at is in the Rider-Waite deck, it's different than this. I am not really a fan of this depiction of the Five of Pentacles. I mean, there's blood on the guy's bandage. I mean, what's up with that? And he's got a bandage on his hand. It just seems kind of gruesome and weird. One of the points I was going to make is that in the Rider-Waite deck, they have a stained glass window with a bunch of down and out people kind of slumped over, walking past in a slumped over manner past this church with the stained glass windows. And what they're trying to suggest is that the person who is getting the tarot reading, who gets this card, might be overlooking the spiritual because they're so focused on the material. And so, oh God, I'm going to hold this up again. But you see that looks like stained glass. The yellow kind of is, I don't know if that's supposed to be stained glass, but that kind of, the yellow can represent gold or money and things like that. Pentacles definitely do. But this idea of, where are you placing your attention? Is it just on the material? Now, Geminis as a sign in and of themselves are not materialistic. If you're materialistic about anything, it's probably about knowledge, wanting to have as much as you can get your hands on, but not in terms of just being obsessed with money. However, you can't just look at the sun sign. And besides, you might have like inner planets in Taurus, which will tend to make the person much more, covetous and Taurus rules the money, a person's personal money and possessions. So that might be what is going on. But I think in general, what this can mean is that if you have felt like the Queen of Pentacles too, I mean, if you have sold a house, Queen of Pentacles can be like the mistress of the manor. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another term. The queen of the castle instead of the king of the castle. And perhaps if there has been any change where you've had to downsize or wait, maybe the waiting process has to do with the house. You have poverty consciousness about it. You're afraid to lower the price or afraid that it won't sell and it's making you very uncomfortable, or even buying a house. The Queen of Pentacles, maybe you're pregnant and you want to nest and you need this, house in order to do so, or you feel that you need it. And I forgot to say, if you have personal planets in Cancer, you could be very into money for security's sake, or in this case, maybe very maternal, and you're interested in the home itself, because Cancer rules that sector of home and family. And home may just have a very special meaning for you, but you cannot allow yourself to ever get fear-based when it comes to your resources, even when it seems like, hey, this is, a logical thing is to be fear-based. Because first of all, it's not going to improve the situation, but you can actually get into a mindset that makes you more likely to, take an offer that is like substandard. Because I have here in the challenge position, the Seven of Cups, which can be like different possibilities. You have a lot of possibilities, but some of them may be not so great. Like I'm thinking that snake and whatever that thing is at the top left. I still haven't figured that out. Your head may be spinning with all these, possibilities, and you have to use good judgment. And really how I see the Five of Pentacles is this kind of sense of, oh my gosh, what can I do? I just want to make it all stop. And also, in general, this feeling of like, I have to pick something because it's better than nothing mentality. And sometimes, it makes sense to do that because, you have to tune into yourself. This is what I'm referring to is more of a reactive thing that's, based on conditioning where the person has a natural fear-based response. And it's not necessarily based on anything that has happened to them specifically, but just their tendency to think the worst about all situations. And if you are unemployed and you're waiting for a job offer, maybe you have been used to being at home for, months at a time, and it's almost like you feel this sense of like, I just want to get out there again. And, it's just like buyer beware type of a thing with the Seven of Cups. Also, it's a card of wishful thinking, which doesn't sound bad to me, but you know what I mean by wishful thinking, and confusion. And so there might be a confusion about exactly what it is that you want to do. This is one of those readings where I can't really tell. I'm assuming it has something to do with money or like some kind of an offer being made, like if you're selling a house or something, but it's hard to tell. What is coming in, or the advice, is the Nine of Wands, which is a card of boundaries. So being, let's say you are wheeling and dealing with somebody, making sure that you have certain bottom line things that you're not willing to go over. Like, for instance, with the Seven of Cups, if you really are kind of, your head is in the clouds and you're up in the air about something, you may not even have a good handle on what it is that you really, really want, what your goals are. So you might have a tendency to just accept the first thing that comes along. And if you know exactly what you don't want, that can be really good. Even if you don't know what you want, if you know what you don't want. And so if you get this job offer, but it's for something that is in a supervisory position, and that's something that you just don't want to do, then you're very clear that you're not going to take a job like that. But you have to really settle it within yourself, because sometimes things can come out of left field and you may be kind of like taken by surprise. And if you're not really prepared for it, you might agree to something that you later regret. And of course, if you did that, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I think that one of the things that I wanted to say about the Hangman is that sometimes this can be a card of surrendering to your situation, which means that you are not worrying about solving this dilemma today or tonight, that you're allowing yourself, and you're kind of like almost acknowledging that you don't have control over the situation. And even though I think we are conscious co-creators, or that's what we should aspire to be, I also acknowledge that we don't necessarily have, I know we don't have total control over situations, and that we have to be okay with that. And as long as we are, looking at our lives in terms of, I need a particular outcome, that we are kind of boxing ourselves in. And usually Geminis are not like that. They're pretty flexible and open, but everybody is human, and they can have that tendency. If this is some kind of a personal relationship and you are kind of in denial over it, maybe you thought that you were going to get married to somebody, maybe you have a child with somebody and they have not left another partner, and you're what's that term? I was going to say swinging in the breeze, but I mean, that's not what it's swinging in the breeze. I can't think of it, but you know what I mean. You're just hanging there. And you're kind of like, I mean, with the Seven of Cups, you might be lying to yourself about the situation. The Five of Pentacles is poverty consciousness, lack consciousness. Are you settling for less? Do you think this is the best that you can do, is to be with somebody who's with somebody else, even if they lie to you, or with how maybe they didn't lie, but it was the sin of omission. They didn't tell you that they were involved with somebody else. They just got involved with you. You fell for them and maybe even conceived a child, and then you find out that they have somebody else, a primary relationship, and you don't immediately leave that relationship. Because they say, oh, well, I didn't tell you because we're going to get divorced anyway, or some stuff like that, but it never happens. The Nine of Wands is about setting boundaries, and that might simply mean that you tell this person goodbye and you mean it, and you don't try to convince them that you're making the right decision. You just do it, and you're not trying to listen to their BS anymore. You're kind of like, yeah, you told me that already. You said you were going to leave and you didn't do it, so see you later. The outcome is the King of Swords. This does suggest something where you have to really completely cut off your emotions in order to deal with the situation. So if I had to like place a bet here for the average person, this might be more of a relationship issue. And you've had to kind of, the King of Swords can be like, I have to really deal with this, but I can't allow my emotions to kind of interfere. How am I going to do that? And actually, you are Swords. So, this is something that you are capable of, becoming this kind of individual. So don't think that, because you're Swords that, but I was going to say, but don't think that that means that you never have any kind of emotional reactions in life. You're human, and that you will. But setting boundaries is the best way to deal with it. And this is something you do within yourself. You don't ask permission from the other party about what is a proper boundary. You just do it yourself. And, come what may. Okay, Gemini, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a personal reading, the link to my offerings is below. I'm primarily an astrologer, so even though I do a lot of tarot readings on YouTube. So please check me out at rainandmoonastrology.com. Take care. Bye.